This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Eric Morton of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure that you never miss the latest from Disney theme parks around the world. Here now is the news for May 31st, 2024. Before I get started, obviously I have a shirt this time, no Topo Chico shirt. By the way, just keep your eye out. I will be choosing a winner for that from the last episode. I'm wearing our shirt from the Tip Top Club, the Tip Top shirt. You can find out more about how to get this awesome shirt. Really, this is good. I think we've had beautiful shirts in the past that were button-ups. I didn't like the material. This is great. We partner with our friends at Park Candy for this really nice material. I think these are great. Go to shop.wdwnt.com for more details on how you can get this snazzy shirt. Now let's get to the news. Some of the classic Disney songs to be performed at the Country Bear musical Jamboree have been revealed. During the second episode of We Call It Imagineering, a YouTube series from Walt Disney Imagineering, a list of Disney songs that will be performed by the Country Bears were revealed. The set list includes A Whole New World, Try Everything, and the previously announced Bare Necessities. The video joins recording artists and engineers in a studio in Nashville, Tennessee, where they are recording songs for the show. Emily Ann Roberts can be seen recording Try Everything as the voice of the beloved bear, Trixie. Yeah, Trixie's going to be singing Try Everything. The episode gave viewers a look at the recording sessions for the whole show. Again, it took place in Music Row in Nashville, Tennessee, and featured musicians recording countrified versions of Disney classics. Allison Russell and Christopher Scott were seen recording A Whole New World. Later, Emily Ann Roberts was there recording that Try Everything we talked about. The bear characters will include Romeo McGraw, Trixie, Terrence Shaker, Ernest the Dude, Big Al, Wendell and Teddy Barra, and Henry. The new show will be opening later this summer. The same episode of We Call It Imagineering gave us our best looks yet at the ride experience of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. PJ Morton, a Grammy Award-winning artist from New Orleans, is heavily featured throughout the episode as he is the musician behind the music of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Morton composed the attraction's new song, Special Spice, whose title was revealed for the first time in the episode. He was among the first people to ride the attraction, and viewers get a look at Morton as he floats down the bayou, declaring, "I wrote that song," as he passes through a scene. There is tons of video of this. There's a few of these things we'll go through. It's the first time that guests have gotten a look at the on-ride experience of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Tiana can be seen halfway up the first lift hill. She even appears to sort of turn and smile and wave at riders as they pass by. Later, we get a look at Tiana again in her full adventure mode. There are several Tiana animatronics throughout this. In this one, she's wearing the hat and all. Eventually, riders come to the famous final drop, formerly into the Briar Patch. The drop has been modified to give a Mardi Gras vibe with yellow and purple lighting. Ultimately, we got to look at the finale as you arrive safely at Floral de Bayou to see Tiana and all of her friends. We also get a behind-the-scenes look at the recording of the music for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That, of course, features Anika Noni Rose, the voice of Tiana, along with New Orleans musicians like Charlie Gabriel and Leah Chase. We also got our first look at the attraction's sign when construction walls came down yesterday morning. The sign is made of twisting greenery to form two poles, holding a purple sign that reads Tiana's Bayou Adventure. A small yellow lily flower sits inside the O in Bayou. Two large pink lily lamps illuminate the sign on either side. Overall, there's a lot to see. Check out our website for more information and photos. Of course, you can watch that episode on YouTube, too, on the Walt Disney Imagineering YouTube page. Tiana's Bayou Adventure opens at Magic Kingdom on June 28th, although previews are starting very soon. Portions of the new Tilework in the Morocco Pavilion at Epcot have been uncovered, revealing more simple designs than those we used previously. The updated tile design is made up primarily of square tiles, creating checkerboard-like designs in blue, white, and yellow. The designs are outlined in rectangular blue tiles. The design differs between the sides and the tops of the planter. The sides feature medium-sized teal tiles surrounded by smaller blue tiles and rectangular white tiles. They're bordered by rectangular blue tiles and yellow and blue tile patterns. What's notable about the new tile design is that it's far less detailed and much more simple than the elaborate designs found in the area before the refurbishment. As you can see, the old geometric design was far more intricate, and it was much more detailed than what's been laid down. And instead, the tile inarguably needed major restoration. It was in bad shape. However, many believe the new design is lacking in authentic color and design. The pavilion's new look comes after Disney took over ownership of the pavilion, which was previously operated independently from Disney. Disney took it over back in 2020. This change was due to legal disputes with Marrakesh Moroccan Restaurant LLC, former operators of the food merchandise locations within the pavilion. The construction of the pavilion, sponsored by the Moroccan government, included hand tiling done by native Moroccan craftspeople. They're obviously not there anymore. The pavilion opened in 1984. Despite the change, the Moroccan Embassy and Morocco Tourism Board are still involved as cultural consultants. I know this has been blowing up on social media a little bit of uproar of maybe a more plain design than people were expecting. Billionaire activist investor Nelson Peltz, who has repeatedly failed to gain a board seat with the Walt Disney Company, has reportedly sold his entire position in the company. Peltz, the 81-year-old founding partner of Tiana Partners, initiated a proxy fight in his battle for a board seat for himself and former Disney CFO Jay Rasulo after making repeated requests for a seat on the board before that. Disney shareholders ultimately rejected the bid made by Peltz, handing him a humiliating defeat back in April. Peltz had aligned himself with former Marvel CEO Ike Perlmutter and Rasulo to help spearhead the proxy fight, but ultimately, Disney was successful in convincing shareholders that Rasulo and Perlmutter were just disgruntled former employees seeking revenge rather than corporate improvements. Tiana insisted that they had no problem with Disney CEO Bob Iger, but rather the monolithic nature of the board. They even went so far as to have Professor Ludwig von Drake show shareholders how to vote. Peltz appears to have finally waved the white flag, though, and he sold his entire position this week, seemingly bringing this bold plan to an end. His stake was reportedly as large as 30 million shares in the company. It's not all bad news for Peltz, though. He can wipe his tears with a lot of cash. He reportedly sold his shares for approximately $120 a piece, raking in a tidy $1 billion profit on the deal. Today is the last day of May, which means you're probably scrambling to put something together for a summer vacation. Why not reach out to our friends at Be Our Guest Vacations, who can help you get something booked at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or maybe on Disney Cruise Line. It's not too late, and their personalized concierge services are absolutely free. They can even book one of those awesome VIP tours if you want to try something truly magical and memorable in the parks. Go learn more by going to www.nt.travel. Disneyland discounts are now available for summer of 2024. Disney announced those discounts previously, and they rolled them out on May 29th, just in time to let you be among the first to see the new version of the Fantasmic show. Per Disney Parks blog, you, your family, and friends can visit again and again to enjoy the magic of Disneyland Park or Disney California Adventure Park for as little as $50 per child per day, ages 3 to 9, and $83 per adult per day, Monday through Thursday, for a limited time with the purchase of a 3-day, 1 park per day ticket. The tickets went on sale again on May 29th for visits June 10th through September 26th and require a park reservation for each day of your visit. This 3-day ticket can be spread out over separate dates during the season, and options for upgrades such as weekend visits, park hopper tickets, or adding Disney Genie Plus services are available at the time of purchase. As far as those hotels, they said, after a day of fun, stay in the magic at a Disneyland Resort hotel and enjoy special savings. Hotel guests may save up to 25% on select stays at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa, the Disneyland Hotel, or the Villas at Disneyland Hotel when staying 4 nights or longer, or may save up to 20% at these hotels Sunday through Thursday without a minimum night stay. The offers for stays are from June 10th to September 26th and can be reserved from May 29th to September 12th, 2024. Of course, these are subject to availability and restrictions. Disney's updated disability access service went into effect at Walt Disney World earlier this month and will go into effect at Disneyland Resort on June 18th. Updates to DAS were ostensibly to prevent non-disabled guests from taking advantage of it after overuse of the service in the past few years, but disabled individuals are sharing how they now feel excluded from Disney parks. A group called DAS Defenders started a petition against the updates when they were first announced. The petition, called Stop Excluding Disabled People from Disneyland and Disney World with New Policy, has now reached over 16,000 signatures as of Thursday. In a press release, DAS Defenders wrote, "The updated DAS program now primarily caters to developmental disabilities, but troublingly, it has even excluded some individuals with autism. This new policy neglects a wide range of disabled individuals, including those with cancer, PTSD, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, seizures, heart conditions, and many other visible and invisible disabilities." Disney's suggestions to those denied DAS include asking cast members at each ride for a return time or restroom assistance. This leaves decisions up to the cast members, who frequently lack adequate training, and according to the DAS Defenders, guests have sometimes not been able to find cast members for help. DAS Defenders calls suggestions like these impractical and insensitive in a letter to Disney executives. Requiring guests with medical conditions to leave and return to the line could result in discriminatory hate, harassment, potentially violent situations, and unnecessary negative attention from fellow parkgoers who are not aware of and shouldn't have to be aware of one's personal condition. This will add even more unnecessary and humiliating challenges to those with disabilities. DAS Defenders also noted that suggesting rider switch doesn't consider disabled guests who are traveling alone or with other disabled individuals or with a carer who would be there with them at all times. Rider switch can also further isolate disabled people from group and family experiences in a world where we are already frequently left out and alienated. Additionally, guests have received insensitive advice, such as being told lupus is not a disability, that they should not go to theme parks at all, or that they should buy the paid Genie Plus pass instead of receiving any disability accommodation. These issues highlight serious flaws in the system, raising concerns about Disney World's commitment to inclusivity and accessibility. They went on to say, DAS does not require guests to provide medical documentation proving their conditions or symptoms, like the IBCCES accessibility card used by Universal Orlando Resort and other theme parks. But DAS Defenders is asking for this option, writing, "This would better assist those with multiple, rare, and complex conditions in getting needed accommodations while also deterring fraudulent claims." Guests are required to purchase non-refundable Disney Parks tickets or passes before applying for DAS, which forces families to spend money without any guarantee that their disability accommodation needs will be met. They request the following from Disney. 1, Disney revises its disability access service program to include a diverse range of disabilities and not just developmental disabilities, incorporating the option to provide documentation. 2, devices and programs that are offered as an accommodation must be free or low cost, abundantly available, and only given to those who will truly benefit from them. 3, train all cast members in anti-ableism and invisible disabilities. Party size should be considered on a case-by-case basis. Next, reduce prices on Genie Plus and offer guests a limited number of free passes for certain attractions to reduce pressure for people to cheat the system in the first place. Next, additional disability-friendly accommodations should be added to the park, including return times for character meet and greets with long lines and increased parade and nighttime spectacular viewing areas for disabled guests who cannot stand. Also, they said, meet with us, a group of actually disabled park guests, to learn about the true needs of disabled guests before new policies are introduced. All right. I know I don't often rant. Some people like that. Some people don't. I don't know if this is going to be a rant. I want to share some personal stories, very personal stories with you. First of all, I recognize that there are a lot of people with disabilities that are not being accommodated by this system. They are accommodated in other ways sometimes, but not under the disability access system. They're given alternate accommodations. And we know that Disney has a reputation for being very accommodating in the past to people with disabilities. Often they would err on the side of caution, just, people would get DAS that maybe didn't need it, but it was better to give more people access than less. Now they've restricted this to a very small group of people, people who do need this service, and I passionately agree that these people should receive these accommodations. But there are a lot of other people, and I'll give my personal example would be my brother Andy, who sadly passed away this year. Andy had colon cancer. He had highly invasive surgery, removed a portion of his colon. Removed almost all of his bladder to where they had to fashion a new bladder out of his intestines and duct tape, I guess. And he was going through chemotherapy. To suggest that someone like that shouldn't go to a theme park is not a practical solution, right? Some of these people, especially those, Andy was not given a terminal diagnosis, but there are certainly people that want to experience the parks with their families in their final days. This is a personal example. This doesn't cover all the people with ambulatory issues and other legitimate issues as well. But as he was, 7 or 8 chemo treatments into these, you can't go in the sun for very long periods of time. You got to wear a lot of sunscreen. You get fatigued easily, and standing in a line is not necessarily practical. You might have to go to the bathroom very quickly, and it's not like there's someone always there to, not always a cast member right where you are in line to help you get out of that line or get back into line. One example would be like Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland. Once you're in that line, there are portions of that line that are very tight. There's no going back. To suggest that someone like that should not receive some sort of accommodation where they can wait just like everybody else, but wait in a location that is maybe more comfortable, safe environment. I think we can all get behind the idea that a lot of those people need those types of accommodations, and they're not getting it right now. And I know it's due to abuse. I know there are lots of people that abuse the system. I read the comments, and a lot of you say things like, "Oh, it's obese people in scooters." That's not the problem, right? They represent a small portion of people who, if you want to say abuse the system, there's a small portion of people that do abuse the system, but they make up a small portion of that. There are other people with any number of diseases or issues or things that are inconvenient for them that perhaps when Disney started charging for the accommodation, when you take something that is a disability accommodation and you make it a perk that people pay for, you're going to get this abuse. This was you could have predicted this a mile away. This is like if you started charging for handicapped parking spots. This is, they have monetized what was a disability accommodation. So of course it's being abused. I would like them to revisit this. I hope they do meet with Daz defenders. I know that there are a lot of people with real disabilities, with real legitimate reasons to, want to wait somewhere else for, that's comfortable for them until it's their turn to ride. And I don't think that the abuse of the system in the past means you need to totally go to the opposite extreme. I think what Universal does is better. People with legitimate medical conditions can meet with medical professionals and they can determine if they are qualifying for a DAS. We're hearing people getting rejected for all kinds of reasons from Disney, and I think their system, from anecdotal evidence, seems to be erring on the side of not issuing a DAS and telling someone to buy Genie Plus, which is offensive. Right? Telling them to talk to a cast member, and maybe that cast member will let them in the ride. I feel bad for the Disney people who are having to have these calls. You have to go on and have this Zoom call when you get to the park and deal with these people. They've made it cumbersome. At least at the Universal, you could have that third-party meeting and get a card that's like, hey, we've established that I need a DAS, just accommodate me. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. I know that people will argue about this endlessly. I realize that we all know that there are people that abuse the system. I don't like the idea that we stereotype certain types of people as abusing the system. I just think we can acknowledge there is abuse of the system. The abuse was caused by Disney creating the Lightning Lane and Genie Plus programs, which are deeply flawed and programs that I don't participate in. And I hope something gets fixed. I think that Disney does care. There are people at Disney that care and are going to listen to you. I hope they do. There's my rant. I'm sorry. Breeze Airways budgeted flights between Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resort have resumed. Guests can now begin booking nonstop flights between the two domestic Disney parks through Breeze Airways. The flights travel between Orlando International Airport and John Wayne Airport in Orange County. Tickets will start at $88 one way. They are available for Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. The Breeze Airways offering was launched back in 2023 as a first-of-its-kind budget service between Orlando and Santa Ana. At the time, Breeze offered $69 fares as an introductory rate. Flights were scheduled once per day, departing from California in the morning and returning from Florida in the evening. We reviewed the experience when it first launched last year. I took that flight with Jason Diffendahl. We upgraded to a first-class seat because it was very affordable for that. I had a fantastic experience. I thought it was great. And by the way, if you didn't know, Santa Ana is much more convenient to go to Disneyland than flying to LAX. But I will say my friend was scheduled the next day, and because Breeze has a small fleet, any little problem they have along the way can cause big hiccups down the road. And my friend's flight did get canceled literally the day after my flight back, and my friend was stuck having to travel to LAX and book an alternate airline for that. So your mileage may vary on this, but it might be worth checking out for some of you, especially if you have time to maybe miss a flight. Rumors suggest that Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain at Disneyland Paris will be converted back to Space Mountain in celebration of the attraction's 30th anniversary in 2025. Unlike Disneyland Park in the U.S., where Space Mountain has been given temporary Hyperspace Mountain overlays in honor of the Star Wars Season of the Force, the Disneyland Paris version was permanently converted to Hyperspace Mountain back in 2017. Photos from ex-user DLP Works reveal construction walls up around the future maintenance bay area at the Hyperspace Mountain building. This lends credence to the rumors that the Discoveryland attraction will undergo a major refurbishment. The creation of this new maintenance area was first noted by Disneyland Paris in November 2023. On May 29, 2024, the attraction was listed as closed on the Disneyland Paris website and will be through the end of the month to accommodate maybe preparations for this project. It's unknown when the attraction would close for major renovation projects, but how long that closure is, we don't really know. The original Disneyland Paris Space Mountain de la Terre à la Lune, opened on June 1st of 1995, 3 years after opening of the park. The attraction was inspired by and named after the Jules Verne novel From the Earth to the Moon, as can be seen from the exterior of the building. Space Mountain de la Terre à la Lune closed in January of 2005, reopening in April of that year as Space Mountain Mission 2. This version of the attraction was themed as a second mission, taking riders beyond the moon they traveled to in the first iteration. It was retired in 2017 during a major rehab of the ride. In celebration of the 25th anniversary of Disneyland Paris, Space Mountain reopened as Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain, and the attraction remains in this form, at least for now. Shanghai Disneyland has added a new Nick Wilde floral arrangement to the entrance of the park, temporarily replacing its usual Mickey floral. He is centered directly in front of the Shanghai Disneyland entryway. Orange, yellow, black, and white flowers are arranged to create Nick's face as he welcomes guests. To the right of Nick are his sunglasses. The frames are made from yellow flowers and the lenses are red. To the left of his head is a popsicle. The top of the popsicle is made from pink and green flowers, while a yellow flower bed makes up the popsicle stick. Nick came out to greet and celebrate the arrangement, honoring him. He is wearing his police uniform with his signature loosely fitted tie. His friend Judy Hopps also came out to show her excitement over Nick's new floral arrangement. She was previously featured as the entrance floral to celebrate the opening of the park's Zootopia Land. Real quick, also we go to Tokyo. I don't have any big news stories from Tokyo today, but Tom is getting ready to release his honest review of Fantasy Springs. That will be coming out. Watch for it this weekend. It's pretty long, pretty detailed. He gives a lot of information. I'm sure a lot of you will be very interested in this. Disney Cruise Line has revealed the bow art for the Disney Adventure, which will set sail from Singapore in 2025. Captain Mickey is in a medallion at the center of the golden art. The filigree around the medallion features the silhouettes of Mickey and his friends. The Disney Adventure is the first Disney Cruise Line ship to sail from Singapore and throughout Southeast Asia. Disney, you may remember, purchased this ship. It was previously known as the Global Dream. It was not quite completed. They bought it, and they are turning it into a Disney Cruise Line vessel. Also, we know that the Disney Treasure is going to be launching then the next year. The Disney Treasure will launch in the winter with Captain Minnie on the bow. And some great news from Disney Cruise Line. Disney Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point is officially complete. Thomas Malzoom, president of New Experiences Portfolio and Disney Signature Experiences, has shared new images of Disney Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point in celebration of the Disney Cruise Line destination's completion. One image shows the Goombay Cultural Center, which will be a hub for Junkanoo Festival celebrations. Also in the image are members of a Junkanoo group styled in traditional festival dress. They will perform in the Junkanoo Parade for guests visiting Lookout Key. Along with the images in a post on LinkedIn, Mazloom congratulated the teams involved with the creation of Lookout Key, including Native Bahamians, Walt Disney Imagineering, and Disney Cruise Line for the achievement. Disney Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point is located on the island of Eleuthera and is the second Disney Cruise Line private destination. It will open for cruises on June 6th, and don't worry, I will be there to bring you all the coverage of that. For the absolute latest on these stories and all those that did not make it to today's show, be sure to check wwnt.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all the Waves members watching who make this show happen several times a week. Hey guys, thanks. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Eric Morton saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.